My name is Bob Fash, U.S. Navy retired commander. I went to work as a civilian in the reserves and went to Madrid and worked there for a year and a half selling to the U.S. military, which was a fun experience. Madrid was wonderful back in 1964, 65. It was really neat. And then they transferred me to London, where I spent 11 years, but I spent 10 of the 11 years working for Merrill Lynch. And what a time I had. It was so neat. I took my English brother-in-law and his wife as my guest at the House of Lords for dinner 2 times. They had never met a lord, and my brother-in-law was a upper middle class. By the time I left, he'd met like 10 of them, but every one of them, I introduced them to him not as Lord so-and-so, but as Bill Johnson or whatever. And then he'd get so angry at me when he'd find out later, that was the Minister of Defense, Lord so-and-so. And I used to love to do that, but he and I actually had a wonderful relationship, but he got pissed that I would sandbag him all the time. I did that like 15 times to him. Did it with admirals and generals in London. It was amazing, really amazing. Because it was London, just like U.S. businesses, their senior executives love to come to London on a business trip because it's a freebie for them. I mean, for instance, Don Reagan, who was head of Merrill Lynch, and then Secretary of the Treasury later, he came a bunch of times. He was Irish, and he liked to go to lunch with us. And we liked to have him go to lunch with us. And in England back then, lunch was long and liquid. So that was fun. Here I am meeting the head of Merrill Lynch. The guys in the United States who were big producers, they didn't get to meet him regularly like that at all. But I was also in the Navy League there. I was an officer of the Navy League. And we used to have great meetings. And one of them was a dinner meeting, and the guest speaker was going to be Admiral McCain and his wife. And we're all, like 20 of us sitting there waiting for dinner for the Admiral to arrive. And Herb Hettu, the public affairs officer, comes in and tells us that Admiral and Mrs. McCain had just been informed that their son John was shot down in Vietnam and probably killed. They still came. He gave a speech. Mrs. McCain sat there, a mother who thinks she just lost her son. To me, that was extraordinarily brave, unspeakably brave, really. And I mean, I could never forget that. Ironically, just a couple of years ago at Newark Airport, I was standing in line to get on the plane, and there's a woman in front of me, and on her neck, it said Navy. The collar of her shirt said Navy, and I said, excuse me, but it says Navy, and that was Sidney McCain, John McCain's wife. And we talked for half an hour because I had had dinner with John's mother and father the night John had been shot down, and I don't think there was anyone else still alive yet from that, because I was a young one in that group. And so for her it was a first thing too. She had never met anybody who'd been to dinner with his mother and father when he had just been shot down and maybe killed. That was quite interesting.